Real graphic design work on Linux is finally here, and that is thanks to Affinity compatibility on Linux, thanks to Wine. Now, if we are being honest with ourselves, GIMP is not it. This is not a full Photoshop replacement. It is great for basic editing, but it is terrible for pro work. And when I'm making thumbnails, for example, the amount of extra steps I need to do for a lot of things just makes GIMP a completely unviable option. If you don't believe me, people hate Adobe as a company. Even if they like their products, people are super fed up with Adobe. And if we want only Photoshop here, we're spending $23 a month. That, after a year, is almost $300. So you bet your ass that if there was a free alternative to Photoshop that was able to do even 80% of what Photoshop would do, every graphic designer would flock to it. But that doesn't seem to be happening with GIMP. And that is for all of these reasons I could come up with. The UI is too different from Photoshop and can be confusing. Non-destructive editing was added recently with GIMP 3.0, but it is an incomplete experience, and many features that should have it still don't have non-destructive editing. Sometimes the performance really sucks. Basic functionality like content-aware fill still needs plugins like Resynthesizer. CMYK colors are not supported in the GIMP editor. You can export with CMYK, but not being able to do straight editing in it makes print work very unviable. And there's no artboards or layer comps, which are very important features for professionals. Artboards let you make a graphic at multiple sizes, and layer comps are an easy way of making multiple revisions of something. And for both of that in GIMP, you need to just save a bunch of different project files. And then another thing, imagine being in a boardroom and pitching your company to switch from Photoshop to a program called GIMP and see the weird looks you will get. Now, another option people don't really talk about, most likely because it's a web app, is Photopea. And I use Photopea for all of my thumbnails here. This is my thumbnail for my last video. It has much better PSD support in my experience compared to GIMP, also supporting .ai files and .xcf files from GIMP. You're also going to get adjustment layers, smart objects. It's much better at non-destructive editing. It has some pretty good AI tools, such as a very easy background removal feature I use for all my thumbnails. It's surprisingly fast thanks to WebGL video acceleration, and for some tasks it's faster than GIMP. But some of the limitations are that it does have some good UI tools. They just do not compare to Photoshop, and AI tools are becoming pretty big in the graphic design space of people I've talked to. And the AI tools are a big deal if you're doing real life work. It is saving a lot of professional graphic designers quite a bit of time. And I'm not saying people are using generative AI to completely do their work, but it does help significantly with a lot of certain tasks, such as, like I mentioned earlier, Photopea background removal and things like that. It's also a browser-based app only. Like, I'm running it through like a simple Electron wrapper I made. And the free version does have ads, although if you don't want ads, it's only €5 a month, which is around $6 a month. Still, Photopea for me covers everything I would need to do with a Photoshop-like applications, so I haven't had a reason to switch away from it yet. Also, by the way, shout out to Michael Tennell, who makes the This Week in Linux show. He was the one who showed me this tool. But that said, I still don't think you're going to be doing professional work with Photopea. But you know you can do professional work with? Affinity Photo. I did say Affinity Photo, but they did used to have Photo, Designer, and Publisher, but now they moved it all into one app that is supposed to be able to work together by having just different tabs for different things you may need to do. I think they're trying to do this as an ecosystem play against Adobe, but that's besides the point because it is free if you have a Canva account. And now it is very easy to install on Linux thanks to Wine and through a convenient installer someone made. So that's what we're going to be doing this video. This is the Linux Affinity Installer. So all we have to do is scroll down to this README and we're going to copy this curl command, which I will warn is downloading a script and piping it directly into Python. So always be a little cautious when you're piping curl directly into something like Bash or Python like this, because if this GitHub repo ever got hacked or something like that, you could be running something malicious. But I did do a quick skim through the code and I didn't see anything that alarmed me, so I feel safe running this script. It does require PyQt6, which I don't have on my main system, and I'm on a immutable system, so I'm going to be running this installer in a container here. However, it does actually install everything to your home directory, so in my experience testing this, even running the installer through a container, once the installer is done, it actually runs natively on my system, so that works perfect. And here it is. So literally all you have to do to start the installation is click this one-click full setup button, And then it's going to ask you if you want OpenCL support, which is going to give you hardware acceleration for some of the features, which significantly improves performance. And this is using the same tech, VKD 3D, that Proton uses in order to run your games at full performance on Linux. So yes, you probably do want to enable that, and it's going to ask what Wine version you want. You probably want Wine 11. So give it a fat second to download Wine 11 here. Then it's going to configure Wine for you, just set everything up you need. Everything's automated. That's what I love about this installer tool. It's the easiest Wine installation I've had in my life, aside from just launching a game through Steam with Proton. And then it's going to install around 9 dependencies, and this part does take around 20 minutes in my experience. So maybe go make a cup of coffee or go for a walk and touch grass. Or when I was testing it, I did 2 homework assignments while I was waiting. But yeah, just give that a fat second. I'm going to pause the recording till it's done.
20 minutes later.
All right, so about 20 minutes later, the setup is now complete for Wine. So now it's going to prompt you to install Affinity. It'll give you the option on which one you want. If you've never used Affinity before, the Photo Designer and Publisher are the older apps, but you do have to pay for those, and the unified one is just free, so I'm just going to go with that. And then you can either provide your own installer or download it automatically from Affinity, so I'm just going to download it. Next up, you'll be prompted with the Affinity installer. I'm going to uncheck create a shortcut for this app because it just creates a Windows shortcut that doesn't work because we're on a Linux system. But now we uncheck that and we click install. Give it a fast second again. I was about to pause the recording, but it only took a few seconds. So now after you close that, it's just going to do a couple extra Wine configurations and install a .desktop file into your system, do things like that. And there we go. Now we can actually see the Affinity photo suite right here. So we're launching this here. We get the little Affinity splash screen here. And here it is. So it's prompting us for a document. So I'm going to be making this video's thumbnail inside of Affinity. So we'll scroll down till we see 1080p, create document. So let's maximize it real quick. There is a small visual glitch for me on Gnome when I maximize it where the corners are slightly offlined, but doesn't seem to affect the application. Now, Affinity has vector mode, which is kind of like Adobe Illustrator. Pixel mode, which is like Photoshop, and layout mode, which I believe is like Adobe Publisher. Now, or I said this is Publisher, it's actually InDesign, but that's what I meant, and I'm not using that either. So we're only going to focus on the Photoshop part here. For the thumbnail, let's grab the Affinity logo here, paste that in. Okay, the direct image copy and paste didn't work. Let's see if I can download it and drag it. Okay, drag and drop does work here. I'm not sure if that's a Wine issue or if Affinity just doesn't let you do that. The transform controls are very easy because you just access it when you're moving the object. You don't have to use some sort of scale tool like GIMP makes you do. Now let's find a color that can complement this logo here. So it's telling me I should use purple, so let's use that. So let's create a gradient here. So, okay, that is confusing me. Oh, I see. I go here, I go to gradient. Let's enable hex, boom. Let's actually change it to HSL so I can just make this part darker. Ooh, I can even add noise to the gradient. That could look good. It's not letting me make the gradient. Okay. Oh, I needed to add a new layer. Okay, from here to here. Oh, I got rid of it. Come on. It's chill. Picking colors for a gradient isn't rocket science here. Okay, I like how this looks. So let's just look at the tools right here. We got a object selection tool, a selection brush tool, flood select tool, some shape selection tools. We got our fill and gradient. We got a paintbrush and a few other brush tools and a pixel tool. We got different types of erase tools, a background erase brush, that might be useful, adjustment brush, a burn brush, a dodge, sponge, filter, blur, sharpen, median, smudge. We got a clone, pretty much all of the tools that you would want through Photoshop. Now let's add a face shot to this file. Oh god, we're using the Wine file picker. Okay, this is really annoying because there's no easy way to just get to my home directory. Like if I go to my computer, it's all my drives. I could be wrong here, but I don't think I am. Pretty much the only thing you have easy access to is your documents. So I'm gonna have to go through my root file system, get to my home folder, have this in video workspace, and then we can pick it. So unfortunately we are dealing with the Wine file picker, and I think Wine should really step up their file picker here. Looks like we got some image metadata at the top right here. That's interesting, but let's cut that, paste it in here, and then let's see if there's an easy way to remove the background on this image. So I did see a background eraser here, so let's try that. Ooh, oh, this works okay. I wonder if there's any AI features similar to Photopea. So you do have your Canva AI right here, and it wants me to sign into Canva. So I do have a education plan for Canva. I use it for my classes. So it doesn't look like it's able to actually get the login from the browser back into the program. So that's a problem. So unfortunately, the features that require a Canva login do not work just yet. Okay, so there's an object selection tool right here, and this one doesn't make me sign in. So it looks like you can download machine learning models onto your computer. So this is actually done locally and isn't uploading your picture to the cloud. So I need the segmentation one for the object selection tool here. So I'll just grab that. It's gonna download, might take a second. Oh yeah, so this is part of the pixel Photoshop part anyway. So seem to work pretty well. So let's just paste that separately. Okay, it's detecting me. I just can't figure out how to actually get a real selection I can work with here. Oh, it's set to add, so maybe I gotta do new up here. Okay, yeah, that did the trick. So that was why. So this is the result we got. So it's Command D to deselect, and it actually doesn't do as good of a job as Photopea, but still impressive Wine was able to do this. So what I'm going to do is make a little layer mask and just clean it up a little bit. So all I gotta do here is just get rid of some of this white like outline area that was left over. Not too difficult of a job. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very impressed that the AI features here worked through Wine, and it was using a local model, so that part is very impressive to me. So this is my final version of myself. This a bit bigger for the thumbnail. It's also out of Wine icon. Drag this in because I'm not trying to deal with Wine's file manager. And now let's add some text here. It isn't detecting some of my Linux fonts, which is unfortunate, but we do have enter here, which is what I use anyway for my thumbnails. Real graphic design on Linux. Maybe we can make this semi-bold and italic. Change the color to be white. Oh my god, the text handling in this is so much better than GIMP, and I misspelled Linux. Let's actually move this a bit and make the text bigger. And then let's just put these two icons here. Ooh, I kind of want to make this icon have rounded corners. Okay, I googled how to do it. So all I have to do is create a new layer and then make a shape for a rounded rectangle, and then I put it inside of that, or maybe I do it the other way around. Oh yeah, I got it. Cool. Now this is a rounded rectangle. Actually, I like how you do that better than GIMP, because GIMP does have a way to round things pretty easily, but with this you get all these different shapes you could have made it instead, so that's cool. Now let's just position all of these so it looks good for the thumbnail, and I think this thumbnail is looking pretty good. So overall, this actually works great. The only issues I found were the Canva account issue where you can't use Canva AI features. To some people that will be a benefit. Also, this weird visual bug at the top in the left side here with GNOME where there's a few pixels visible doesn't happen if I do not maximize it, only when I do maximize it. And of course you're dealing with the Wine file manager, but other than that I didn't find any broken features. And this app does give you a lot better feature parity of Photoshop. So if I were to be doing real graphic design work on Linux, I may consider this as an option rather than GIMP. Actually, let's move this a bit. There we go. Let's save this file, which I'm doing in documents because I don't want to navigate all the way to my home folder through the Wine file manager. And let's export it here into documents. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm trying to get this channel going again, and I'll see you in the next video.